What do we want our future back? When do we want it now? Charlemagne dit stoppez le Brexit. 3, 2, 1. Stoppez le Brexit. We are European, so let's remain. So let's remain. Music for EU. Why, Teresa? Teresa. So our bus is having to reverse up the road because of that.
Really are pathetic, aren't they, mate? Just make sure they don't throw in food.
EDL thugs.
That's democracy.
This is democratic debate, they don't like it. So they're blocking the road.
The EU is a good idea.
The EU is a good idea.
And we should stay, that's very clear.
We should say that's very clear.
The UK needs another say.
The UK needs another say.
And people's vote's the only way.
That's the only way. I'm here at the People's Vote March with 3 adorable girls. Can you tell me your names?
I'm Rosie. I'm Kiana. I'm Ellen.
And they've got some amazing chants. Go on, guys. What do we want? Our future back. When do we want it now? Can I ask what it is that what is it that you dislike about the EU so much?
Obviously, people like you that's inadequate. They don't even know the information because the press, here you are, asking you them about the murders. I mean, to me, you should know this because you're students.
Yeah,
These,
I'm not a student.
No, but, well, your friends will be on.
That's, not very
The students, they don't even know about the beheadings.
Just goes
They
hand
don't
in hand
know
with you stand
many,
for
many
to
other
see
things because it's all kept from you. To shadow you.
Which beheadings are these?
Ask the press, because if the press doesn't know, then they're hardly likely to tell you. And it ain't my thing to tell you. All I'm doing is warning you that there is problems.
Okay, you're telling me.
And do you know about the troubles in Germany, Sweden, Netherlands, France? There's mass movements, hundreds of thousands of people marching to all them countries. And you're here fighting to attach it.
I've been working on
I think the nature of the 2 different campaigns here is quite stark. The Leavers are being very aggressive, shouting at us, chanting over us, they're very abusive. I've been called every name under the sun, told, that I'm a disgrace, and told not to be wearing the Union Jack flag, because apparently that's their flag. Obviously I'm of a different opinion that the patriotic thing to do is remain, because that's in the best interest of our country, but there's no point having a debate with people that are just screaming in your face and jabbing their fingers at you.
I wonder, if I call you a Nazi, do you think I'll get arrested? I wonder. Are you Anna somebody's daughter?
The Remainers, there's quite a lot of us here, but it feels like we're being outnumbered because the Brexiters are so vocal and so aggressive. The atmosphere feels quite toxic, to be honest.
People might find it an insult as
I
well.
find it offensive, very, very offensive. If you have that on the side of that bus.
Abolish the Brexit bus! Oh yeah!
And you need to remove it.
Okay, well, I find Brexit offensive.
That's a political opinion. You can find that offensive, but that is not undermining parenting.
We find an
And you are
undemocratic
undermining
commission
parenting.
I don't
offensive.
think I am.
You are
Violence is determined in a court of law,
you're
not
disgusting.
to be an
Do
obscenity.
you want to find you? Have you got any kids?
That's Supergirl.
If anybody wants any bollocks to Brexit stickers, please come and get them from me.
Länder für die Europawahlen antreten und versuchen 25 Sitze.
3, 2, 1.
Bollocks to Brexit!
To sacrifice on the altar of delusion when peace is the victim of this false illusion. Bridges will stand where bodies will fall.
Thank you very much. My first proposal will be today that we ask the Supergirl to replace Theresa May in Britain and then I think she's ready to do it. If you see the mess in the Conservative Party, she can do it better, I think. So I'm very pleased to be here. And I'm very pleased to be here because it's the first time that I'm coming to a meeting of Poles for Europe. And I have followed you nearly every time when you got a gathering, a meeting, impressive. And I have to tell you that I think personally that Poles of Europe have done more for Europe than all political leaders for the moment the last years in Europe.
So I'm here in Frankfurt and we've just had the Pulse of Europe event and there's two of the organisers, so I wanted to chat to you about why is it that you think it's so important to campaign for Europe?
Yeah, right now it's super important to campaign for Europe because we have only 2 weeks until the European election. And it's really all up to all of us to decide what will happen to our future, our shared future, and it's now the moment to get up off the couch, off wherever you are, and really in 2 weeks move your ass, go to the elections. And please, if you vote, don't just only vote, read what these people are, who you vote for, what they want, and please, please, please vote pro-European.
Exactly. And I'm also with Pulse of Europe because I lived in so many European countries and I'm convinced that Europe is the best thing we've ever created in this part of the world, and we need to keep it and we need to understand each other much better than we did in the past, and it has to do with heart and love, as Madeleina said as well. It's not about power, it's really about understanding the cultural diversity and let the people be as they are, but join in the European campaign and vote for Europe. It's important for now and for the next 20 years.
And please don't leave us!
No, don't leave us!
People in the UK, please don't leave us! Yeah, we hope you remain, and this is all coming to an end because it doesn't make sense for none of us, I think, and I really hope we all learned out of this, so nothing like this will happen in the future again. And it's not a done deal, and there's so much more to do, and I think we will be in the end all together. At least I hope so.
Your voice counts and it matters that you speak, you're not alone. Together we are strong, alone we are weak, you're not alone. You're not alone. So I'm in Prague and we've got two pro-EU activists who are both dressed amazingly. And can you tell me, why do you think it's important to fight for Europe?
Because we as Czech Republic are a small country and we cannot exist alone in Europe. Because today I went to Ukrainian march and Ukraine is not in the EU and they got attacked by Russia and they are fighting now for their existence. And if we leave the EU, they would end up just like that. And I believe that EU is for a better life, they think of people, they put first rights of people in front of the rights of corporations. They think of good future, but they don't want just monetary wealth. They think of environment, of rights of people, of human rights, and so on.
Falling in love with you.
I think that the referendum was 4 years ago now. So I think at those times the British didn't have the right information. They didn't know what the Brexit will be about and what consequences. So I think if the British want to go, okay, it's okay, but it will be replicate for both for Europe and for Brits.
The ECSC was formed and ratified. This was otherwise known as the Treaty of Paris. This laid down the ECSC directive of the foundation of the integration of all members. This established the federal state. What do we want? Federal state. When do we want it? Now.
Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing with the truck. Where are you going? Where have you been? What's your plan?
Also, I'm the president in North Hessen, and we have organized it. This was an idea. I got it in Vienna. We were on our congress of the Federal Committee of UEF, that's the Union of European Federalists, and we saw there a small coffee car.
Yeah.
And when we went back, my husband and me, we knew that somebody who's renting an apartment in our area has this truck. Normally it's a food truck. He make barbecue in it. And then we thought, that's an idea, we can do it for promotion for European election. I think if you go only in your thoughts in the past, we have no future. And we have to learn from the past, and even the Germans. And that's the reason that we have to fight for a union in Europe. It's the most important thing we have to do.
Very good. So, we're going to try a second one. We did it earlier. It's in Italian.
Federazione Europea Subito! Federazione Europea Subito!
Why are you fighting for Europe?
Because I think that Europe is our future. We have so many possibilities, but we have to fight to get more chances and to live in peace and to have more opportunities altogether. And Europe is the right way to do this.
Europe is our home. It's important for your future.
So I'm here in Paris with two members from Jeff France, and I'm going to ask you guys why you're fighting for Europe.
I'm fighting for Europe because I want Europe which is representing my values, and I want a more democratic Europe and a stronger Europe, so these values can generate some very good European politics useful to every citizen.
And yourself?
Well, I choose Europe for geopolitical reasons, because now there are some regional powers, great powers, which consider us as enemies, such as China, Russia, and even now the United States. And so we need to stand together to be strong and protect our societies and our economies.
Toi de un, I choose Europe!
I'm sorry, because everyone since you've been part of the European Union, the United Kingdom has been an hindrance to the development and like the construction of the European Union. So we're gonna work, we're gonna keep on moving, and we'll do it better without the UK.
Okay.
But
so you don't want to see us back?
I do.
You don't want to see us stay?
I do want to see you back when we'll be more like politically mature.
Okay, well that says it.
Okay, I disagree on that. I want you back immediately because we are friends.
Alright, you're my friend.
Well, I'm your friend as well, but you know,
I'm here in Berlin at the Zeit Online conference with two very well-known EU activists who campaign for free Interrail passes. So, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, we're so happy to be here with you. My name is Vincent, this is Martin. We are Herr and Speer, and we're campaigning for stronger European integration and believe free Interrail passes are one way to do that.
Awesome. Well, my first question is, why do you think it's important to fight for Europe?
I think Europe is like a family, and times aren't always easy, but it's better if you sit together at a table and work out solutions as a group, and so you get better solutions.
And there is really no alternative, I think. In today's world, 21st century, Europe is the answer. It might not be easy, but what's the alternative? Back to the national state? I don't think we want to go there.
Okay, and I'm from the UK, and we've got Brexit, so my second question is, what do you think about Brexit?
First of all, I feel really sorry. I really feel sorry for young Brits in particular who feel like, they wanted to remain in the European Union, and I feel like they're kind of being dragged out against their will. However, it looks like there's still a chance that Brexit might not even happen.
And I really hope it's like a wake-up call also for the rest of Europe to stay united and work towards a united future. And I really hope you come back and you will. You didn't leave yet, so stay.
Yeah, and keep inspiring, Madeleina.
Yeah.
And you guys too as well, keep up the great work.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
So, do you want to introduce yourself and tell me a little bit more about Volt?
So, I'm Julia. I'm one of the co-leads of the European design team for Volt Europa, and I'm also currently the country leader of Volt Poland. So, I'm basically in charge of creating Volt in Poland at the moment.
And you've been doing some fantastic work for Europe. So, can you tell me why it is that you think it's important to fight for Europe?
Europe has done so much for us, and it has so many positive things about the unity it creates and the freedom it gives us and the opportunities and the growth, that it's crucial to keep that.
What do you think about Brexit?
I think Brexit is honestly this sad occurrence that happens because of misinformation. It's because of fake news and honestly this rise of populism that has caused so many people, normal citizens, to be misinformed about Europe, about their own country. So I feel like it's crucial for us to support people within the UK that want to remain in Europe. Show them that yes, we're not giving up, that we're going to be here for you, and we want to support you in every way possible.
I'm at Europe House in Berlin with a couple of members of staff, and they've shown me this board that they've got for the EU elections, where they're asking people to come and say what they want from Europe. And you've just told me an interesting story.
Yeah, actually lots of people say that this time they're voting for no Brexit, and they put bollocks to Brexit stickers on the flashcards.
Lots of British people come past, even Scottish. They say, well, they're voting for Scotland's right to remain in the EU, and lots of British people voting for no Brexit. They seem quite embarrassed even when they come in, and apologetic, but then they're very happy that we're here and take a lot of material and flags with them back to the UK.
We won't go, we won't go, we won't go down without a fight. Fight. Stop Brexit. Fight. Fight. Fight for Europe. We won't go, we won't go, we won't go down without a fight.
3, 2, 1. The future is Europe. This time I'm voting. So I'm at European Youth Week in Brussels before the European parliamentary elections, and I'm here with my good friend Bettina from Frankfurt.
Yes,
basically. So she's all over the place. You've lived loads of places in Europe, and she's been really active, even in the UK as well, for the European movement. She was the president for a year. We're here at the Youth Week, and so I'm going to ask you, why is it so important to you to fight for Brexit?
It's important for me because you only realize what you have when you've lost it most of the time, and I think the UK got a really good wake-up call right now, and you haven't lost yet, so please keep up the fight and stay, because this is our home, and we have so much to lose, but also so much to keep, and so much to improve, and to
to cherish, really. The real democratic action is to think over and then decide again. This is why we have elections every few years. And the same goes for the Brexit referendum. So there's still hope. Please stay. We love you.
We want to stay friends.
Oh yeah, we will anyway though, we will. But please make it not more difficult.
Stop Brexit, love Europe. We've got the scouting stall. Your name is?
Maggie.
Maggie, and she's going to tell me a little bit about the European Scouts movement.
So yeah, I work for the European Scout movement, the region, and we have 1.5 million scouts in Europe in general, and you know, we value all of friendship, every scout from every country, and the British Scouts especially I mean, scouting has been funded in the UK, so we have this really nice relationship with the British Scouts, and we know that will always be part of the European Scout region, because scouting, you know, goes beyond borders and beyond political limits. So this is why we really value friendship and unity and diversity as scouts.
We won't go, we won't go, we won't go down without a fight. Fight. Hey!
We need to make the campaign more emotive, and we need strong, passionate symbols and voices that are saying it's time for change, and it's time to stand up for Europe and fight for our futures, and the future is Europe. Brexit's a con! Brexit's rubbish and we want it gone! When I think of Europe, I think about something that's bigger than just our national identities. Europe is about working together to achieve change that's mutually beneficial for all citizens. It's about celebrating our diversity and being proud to work together in collaboration. And the most beautiful phrase in the English language is
It's a love song to Europe. It's good. I think we should stay.
We've wandered lonely down this road for so long, for far too long. And I'm waiting on you to sing us the song. Won't you sing us your song?
From the fire we wollen to rise. Und jetzt Freude schöner Götter, Funken, Tochter aus Elysion. Wir betreten Feuer, trunken himmlische Einheitlichtum.
Tell me why are you using your artwork to stand up for Europe and fight for Europe before the elections?
Europe is the biggest peace project in the world, and I am a European from the bottom of my heart, and I think now is the time that we stand up together, like you, me, all other young people out there from cultural fields, to come together and really fight for this one little but great continent we all live in, and without England it's not possible anyway. So Brexit. The maxim of the sculpture Love and Hate, which is an ambigram because one is love and one is hate, which is like a sort of dualism in people's minds anyway, that pretty much relates to Europe in the current state, I think, because everybody's so torn and we don't know where we are heading. So at the end, all that matters is make love, not hate.
And as an artist, can I ask you, why do you think it's important to use creativity to campaign for what you believe in?
Creativity is the only key we have, and the kind of seismographic key from a democracy is the freedom of art. Basically, if a country is liberal and you can do whatever you like in a certain way of art, then it means it's totally democratic. So in a way, when you think about hate, it's very narrow, it's very limited, it's very small. It's the opposite of an embrace. And if you think about love, it's opening, it's heartwarming, and it's giving, and it is an embrace. And this is where we're heading. So more love, not hate. And that's why we thought make a big European hug to have you here in Berlin, be my Supergirl today, performing and singing. I love your songs, and we're gonna hear lots and lots of more. And yeah, we're gonna have a beautiful day today. Love Europe.
Love Europe.
Happy birthday, dear
Hallelujah. I'm in Brussels on election night. We're waiting for the results to come in, and I was invited here by the lovely European movement people.
We are really keen to make sure that we don't find ourselves in the situation where Europe was 70 years ago, when this project first started. Divided by nationalism, destroyed by war, torn apart by ideology of hate. What Europe represents is the exact opposite. The idea that we can come together, cooperate, and build a better future for ourselves and for our fellow people across the continent. From our work in the European movement, we've seen an explosion of positive sentiment towards the European idea because of what happened in the UK. And there's so much inspiration that we draw. The true activism that these people are showing to make sure that they can hold on to being part of Europe. It's just inspiring.
So that's it. Everyone out on the streets in the UK waving up flags. Well done from this guy. What do you think about one word on Brexit?
A tragedy.
Tragedy. I'll go with that. I'll go with that. Right, I'm in Vienna, Austria, outside their main railway station, Vienna, and I'm about to hop on the train to Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia, which is only an hour away by the train. You can also get there by boat if you travel down the Danube. Again, the journey's only like an hour and 15 minutes. The Interrail Pass is just a fantastic scheme that allows people of any age actually to travel around, experience the different cultures, the diversity of the European countries, because for me this is what Europe is all about. We need to celebrate the way our nations come together to work cooperatively across our continent to achieve great things for the lives of EU citizens. Things like infrastructure projects. Through research, innovation and investment, we build these great structures, and also transport and travel opportunities. It's much easier and cheaper for EU citizens now to travel across Europe and to have conversations that share ideas and knowledge. And I think the arts are an amazing way to have those conversations, to build our European family through love, to create that community. That's what Europe's about for me.
Follow winding tracks to landscapes in the distance. The pursuit of happiness is sure to meet resistance, but nothing is worth achieving if there is no fight to be had. So put your faith in people and you'll see they're not all so bad.
So I'm in Bucharest with a lovely group of people that are protesting the anti-corruption in Romanian government. They want to reduce the number of parliamentarians from 600 to 300. Why are you speaking out for the EU particularly? What do you think, how does the EU benefit your country?
From EU, because we can work abroad, because Romania is no working condition. Because in last years, more than 20 years, is this party, PSD party, The problem in Romania is going in the bad direction. They follow only our interest. We hope will be changed. With this action, will be changed something in Romania.
The art of wandering, I wonder if you know. Traveling the world, collecting stories as you go. Observing all our differences, life's variety. Document the details, only a careful eye can see. Paint each day a picture of our diversity. Sing each night a lullaby of our humanity.
I'm travelling from Bucharest to Sofia, the capital, and they come along, they take all the passports, they put them in a little plastic bag, and then they take them away and check them, and then they bring them back and hopefully give them back to the right people. And now we've crossed the border and we've had to stop and do it again. And each time it takes like half an hour, everyone's just sat on the platform like, what's going on? We're bored, we want to get to the next place. You know, people that are going on holiday and travelling for leisure reasons, you can afford to take a really long train journey. But if people are travelling for work, it's a hell of a long commute, time-wise, and it just makes it completely unfeasible and unsustainable. And this is why, for the future of Europe, transport integration is going to be so important. You know, Schengen is the way forward. The future is Europe.
He is breaking British democracy. He must be stopped. Stop the coup. Democracy carries on in the European Parliament, but it stops in Westminster.
True leadership seeks the common ground, to overcome divisions, and to work collaboratively to tackle global issues. True leadership inspires and engages us with a debate that is open, creative, diverse and tolerant. All the values of the EU for which we are fighting.
To come out! We want to come out, you can't deny us that!
And so now that's why I'm here in Brussels. My colleagues are in the EU Parliament as we speak, who have been speaking to MEPs and EU officials, fighting for our case that there have been people in the UK that voted to leave in 2016 but have now changed their mind and wanting to stay in the EU. We've got to fight and keep that spirit going, because if we're together, we're better. If we're apart, we're not. So let's keep going, let's keep fighting, and let's have that people's vote.
So I've got these beer mats.
Phenomenal idea. I tell you, the best advertising of anything I've ever seen. It's just a cracker, you know. It's very simple but very effective.
What's your biggest concern of the threat that Brexit might pose?
A hard border, the division of Ireland. We don't need to go back to the past. I mean, it's ridiculous that this could propel us into the past. The political movements brought about peace in Northern Ireland, but the EU, people do forget the role that the EU brought to ending poverty in Ireland and helping us step up, and in the UK. I mean, they built our roads and bridges and airports, and they invested in the infrastructure of the country, which allowed it to develop economically, and that helped lift people up, and that helped lift spirits, and that did have a huge role. I mean, in bringing peace, because peace and prosperity are hand in hand.
I'm at Copenhagen Central Railway Station in Denmark, and I'm about to travel to Stockholm in Sweden along the Öresund Bridge, which is a 16-kilometre route. The bridge accounts for about 8 kilometres of that, and it just goes to show what European countries can achieve when they work cooperatively and collaboratively on big infrastructure projects like this. The bridge itself was an entirely self-financing project, so I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to travel to Sweden. It should take about 5 hours.
When we get to Alvesta, where we were supposed to stop, if we had gone the regular way, then it will be possible to see maybe how big the delay will be. But we will have plenty of time to talk to each other, I can assure you, during this detour.
So the railway is currently a mixture of single and double track, some of it electrified, some of it not. It's basically a bit of a mess and the journeys take forever. So interestingly, what the EU is doing is it's actually developing the rail network in the Baltic states, and the idea is to link the 3 Baltic states together and then take the network through to Warsaw for transport of goods and people. And it's being funded by a mixture of funding from the EU, so the TEN-T budget, but also the structural cohesion funds for the nation states. And the nation states themselves are putting in some of the money, about 200 to 300 million each. Latvia is actually putting in the biggest proportion of that. And down here we've got an interesting little thing, which is the first Christmas tree marker, because Riga claims to have put up the first ever Christmas tree in this very town square right here in the year 1510, it says on the ground. This is obviously a big tourist attraction because Christmas trees are European-wide tradition, everyone knows about them. Lots of tourists have come along and taken their photo with this. The only issue is that Estonia, where I've just come from, also claims to have put up the first Christmas tree in 1441 in Tallinn town square by the Brotherhood of Blackheads Merchant Association. So it's like a little rift between the two countries, both fighting over who put up the first Christmas tree, but this is Latvia's claim to the title. I'm in Edinburgh today because we're doing a march with Euromove Scotland, and I've found a good friend of mine. Tell me what you're doing in Edinburgh and why do you think it's important to stand up and campaign for the EU?
So what we're doing in Edinburgh is these marches. We've had these marches every few months for the past 2-3 years. It's always been a good turnout, and we're expecting a good one today as well. We're doing street activism, constant street stalls every weekend, more or less. We'll be doing social events, discussion nights, and so on. I think it's important to not only oppose Brexit, but also to take the debate a little bit further. Here in Scotland, I think it's always been a little bit more advanced. We already supported a people's vote long before it became mainstream all across the UK. So now we already need to start making conversation about what kind of a Europe we want to see in the future. Because it's not only about stopping Brexit, it's also about addressing the cleavages that Brexit has brought to light. And we need to figure out how we can improve the EU so that the EU can address some of these concerns.
I see on your t-shirt you've got a famous figure.
Yeah, that's Altiero Spinelli. So some of you might know Altiero Spinelli as the man after whom the European Parliament building in Brussels has been named. He wrote this manifesto called the Ventotene Manifesto during World War II when he was imprisoned by Mussolini, the fascist leader of Italy. So he made this vision of a united Europe, how we can overcome the nationalism that brought us war in the 40s. And I think that's still a very, very relevant vision today.
Hey guys, what do you think of Brexit? What do you think of Brexit? Bullet! Boris Johnson! What do you think of the EU? Great! Amazing!
Yeah, EU super gang. Hello, hi, I'm Alex Hamza. I'm a Lib Dem MSP, so it's nice to meet you. I actually kind of bumped into you nearly last year in Brighton at Lib Dem conference. This is Ian Murray, who's Labour MP.
Oh, cool. So Lib Dem and Labour marching, and that's amazing.
He's a good guy. He's a Remainer. He's a thorn in the side of the leadership.
Excellent. What did you think about their attempted ousting of Tom Watson?
I think it's utterly funny. It just shows you how ridiculous they are. The pack of cards are in the front quicker.
I think has been really lacking from the conversation about Brexit has been anything of a pro-EU dialogue and any sense of what it means to be an EU citizen and the joys and the benefits and the opportunities that provides us. But having done all this travelling and speaking to fellow activists from across the EU, it's actually made me realise that the problem is much wider across Europe, that citizens don't feel engaged in the democratic process. They don't understand the rights and the value of being EU citizens. And I think that's a failing of the EU to properly communicate and probably to involve people in that conversation, that dialogue. And that's why I think it's really important that we make changes now to make the conversation more inspiring and more engaging for people across Europe.
But turn it around. All right, rock and roll.
When you know you have to take a stand, when sacrifice and compromise may make their demands for a life to have meaning, when principles are at stake, comfort and security are risks we have to take. We must work together for what matters most of all. Every voice counts, no matter how small. Let's change the world for the better. Let's change the world for good. Let's change the world for the future. Let's change